Good morning and welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner. I go by Blind Run on the internet and Matthew in real life, and today we're going to be talking more crypto mining and cryptocurrency news. It is Friday, so kind of getting ready to hop into the weekend for everybody. So for the hobbyist miners, congratulations. You can get out there and start working on some stuff, which is not a bad idea because we have some new miner releases that are going to help you improve your hash rates across different algorithms, and testing new algorithms is going to be more important than ever due to, of course, the impending merge that is coming up and the removal of Ethereum from a proof of work and basically the ability to mine it with GPUs. So it'll be important to be testing and making sure you're ready to go. That being said, we will be talking about mining profitability as we always do, and we are still mining Ethereum by a bulk majority over here on my farm. So what are you guys mining? Have you guys already moved over? What else are you up to? We'll get into that later with Q&A as well. Coinbase mispricing allows users in Georgia to cash out for 100 times the rate, which is pretty interesting. We have more news surrounding the RTX 4080 with the Founders Edition graphics card being leaked out. And we have the Intel Arc A770 beating out the RTX 3060 in benchmarks. And we have some news from Flux as far as the dApps go. And we have some information surrounding, of course, the Ethereum Classic miners, specifically the AntMIner E9. We have the firmware release for ETH hash now available to the public. So let's get into all of that and more right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. All right, and welcome back everybody. So first things first, we do have a new release from NBMiner. It's not that impressive. Apparently all they decided to do was add support for the NiceHash ETC pool because NiceHash has added support for Ethereum Classic. And this is going to get extremely interesting moving closer to the merge, because obviously what we have are a bunch of ETC hash miners that will be basically reflashed with new firmware from Bitmain and the various other ASIC manufacturers for ETH hash ASICs, and it is potential, or there is potential here for an attack to be carried out on Ethereum Classic now, especially considering the fact that there is support once again now on NiceHash for this, and that is how the attacks have been carried out previously on Ethereum Classic. Now, seeing that there are only really two competitors to Ethereum that will remain proof of work right now, there is potential essentially for bad actors to want to take these networks out, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's Ethereum or one of these two, right? And these two, as I specifically talk about, are going to be Ethereum Classic and Ergo. And so adding this support for NiceHash, I don't think is good. I don't agree with it, and I am not a proponent of NiceHash. And if you are going to be mining Ethereum Classic with your ASICs, I highly recommend that you point it directly to the network to actually add true security to the network as intended in cryptocurrency and blockchain in general. And NiceHash can go ahead and suck a There we go. I'm done with that. Let's talk about the next thing, which is going to be lolMiner version 1.55. Significantly improved Flux mining performance on AMD RX 5000, plus 10% on the 5700 and 15 to 22% on the AMD RX 6000 series based GPUs. So yes, this is in relation to the title of today's show. There is a potential here to increase your hash rate 10 to 22% if you are mining with AMD GPUs on Flux, and this is obviously much needed for the AMD miners out there. Unfortunately, what does it not support? Well, it doesn't support the Polaris GPUs, and as you guys know, if we're looking at the statistics based on HiveOS and their stats, we would basically be looking at a majority of the AMD models being Polaris GPUs, with the RX 580 and 570 taking the top slots at over 42% of the AMD share there. So is it good? Yeah, if you were one that basically upgraded to the RX 5000 or the RX 6000 series GPUs. But if you didn't, well, I mean, if you're on Polaris, you're pretty much screwed going into this merge. That's just the way it is. It's the way I see it. You're going to be stuck with all of the ASICs on Ethereum Classic, and you're going to get priced out and margined out, and it's not going to be great. If you are on basically newer GPU architectures, you may be okay moving forward. 2000 series and above, of course, on the NVIDIA side, and 5000 series and above on the AMD side, but you're going to have to wait and see how it all shakes out. This is good news, though, obviously, for the 5700 users as well as the RX 6000 series users. Mining Flux, Beam, and Equihash 144.5 and Equihash 1927 will now display the iterations for easier overclock tuning and the pool solutions per second calculated from submitted and accepted shares. Flux mining can now be selected via the algo Flux without needing to specify the PERS, basically here, --PRERS. Enabling Equihash 144.5 and 192/7 will now also support the auto and instead of capital, PERS auto, for enabling pool automatic selection. They added DAG check and repair function for Ethereum Classic mining up to Epoch 300, and they added Ethereum and ETC plus Caspa code for NVIDIA Pascal based GPUs, which is pretty good to see. Unfortunately, we still don't have anybody adding the Ergo dual mining, Ergo and Caspa. So, you know, that needs to really get done at this point, especially for GPU miners, because Ethereum Classic is out. Like, it's pretty much, we can guarantee that with the margins that we've seen and the fact that we have large entities like Bitmain and large mining companies that are pushing these ASICs moving to Ethereum Classic, it's pretty much out for GPUs. The hobbyist miners are not going to be able to hit those margins. I just don't see it happening. So we need different options other than ETH and ETC for our dual mining for sure. Ergo could be one of those. They added an option to mix different ETH hash style algorithms with using the failover pool function. To use this, you can now use ETH, ETC, and UBEAK as a prefix for your failover pool address to indicate this pool uses a different algorithm than the one configured initially. This will allow you to automatically switch from ETH hash to ETC hash pool when the merge happens, as one can configure for normal ETH hash mining. So that's kind of interesting. You're going to be able to automatically switch over to ETC hash from ETH hash if you so prefer. You know, I guess cool if you want to do that, but I don't think a majority of the miners are going to want to go to ETC. Some fixes: they fixed a bug that might cause the miner to crash when an Ergo pool connection needs to reconnect, and they fixed a bug that causes random invalid shares when mining Caspa on AMD GPUs. So lolMiner coming out with a great release here for the month of September. And of course, there is that old song, Wake Me Up When September Ends. And this September is going to be revolutionary. And a lot of y'all aren't going to be here for it. We've already lost over, 400, 500, 600% of our viewers. This is good news for everybody that's sticking around, because they will come around back in 2025 and wonder how everybody made it. And we'll be like, well, we stuck through it and you didn't, and that's why you failed. So don't worry about it. But yes, we are starting to see basically the removal of the weak-handed, the weak-minded. They are gone. We are sitting at 216 concurrent viewers right now. Compared to last month, we are down to 300,000 views. From last month, we were at about, maybe 500,000 views. In the month before that, 700,000 views. So within 3 months, we've lost, basically 60% of the viewership, which means that we are getting down to the bottom. This is good news. This means we are getting to the point to where it is kind of push to shove. Push is coming to shove. We're going to see a lot more FUD in chat, which I'm sure is going on right now, as I saw some before the show as well. These people will come in and try to be rude because they've made poor decisions in the past. They will probably jump out from mining right now. They will sell all of their equipment, all of their cryptocurrency at the bottom, and then they'll wonder what happens in 2025 at the next halving, and they'll cry, and they'll buy back in during the bull market next time. So that's pretty much what we're going to see happen. Once again, you know, it's all cyclical. It's the same thing over and over again. Yes, I get a little cynical about it because it gets a little annoying seeing it over and over again, because now this will be the third or fourth time that I've seen it happen. All right, so next we have the AntMIner E9 ETC initial firmware is available now on the AntMIner website, or the Bitmain website, excuse me. Go ahead and head on over to there, and you will be able to get the latest support for the AntMIner E9. I don't think this is a good purchase. I don't think the AntMIner E9 is going to be a great purchase. I really honestly do think you have a ton of Ethereum ASICs, specifically E9s, that are flooding the market, and they're kind of expensive still. They're like $9,000, $10,000, and you are going to only be able to mine Ethereum Classic. I think Ethereum Classic, from a profit margin standpoint, is going to be a lot closer to Bitcoin, and you guys all see what happens with Bitcoin, right? The power companies are coming in. They're pretty much going to be mining for themselves, or you got large institutions and basically investors. The hobbyist miner is not going to be able to compete with them. I don't think a single AntMIner E9 is going to be the play here. You know, maybe if you were a large farm and you're wanting to be like bullish on Ethereum Classic, cool. But we also just have to be practical about this. Ethereum Classic is going to just get absolutely flooded, and the price discovery isn't happening. We've already seen the A10s move to Ethereum Classic, and the price discovery is not there. So there will be, yes, some price discovery as all of the ASICs move over to Ethereum Classic, because there will have to be, because the margins are already too low right now. But will it be enough for you as a miner to run an AntMIner E9 and make any sort of significant revenue? Probably not, especially early on, until more people kind of capitulate and get out, right? So that's kind of where we're at as far as that is concerned. And it is important to note that we still do have 82% of the hash rate on Ethereum right now, with only 3% on Ethereum Classic and 3% on NiceHash ETH hash. So keep that in mind. Actually, and then if you include that, it's really 85% of pretty much everything on Ethereum still to this day. And we got the merge coming. Now we have some new information, partnerships and such coming from Flux. And this is the Dapp Play Store. This is kind of interesting. I kind of wanted to go over this. It's new to me. I caught it right before we went live, so let's hop into it. Granting access to decentralized applications to the public, Dapp Play Store strikes a new deal with a solution-based network. Dapp Play Store today announced this new partnership with Flux Labs, a new generation of scalable decentralized cloud infrastructure. The partnership is timely as it will open a new phase of decentralization and technology. Now members can integrate their decentralized projects with Flux Labs Web3 and access them through DPS, a top-class decentralized Play Store. Flux Labs is home to a wide range of decentralized computing services and blockchain as a service solutions. Owned by Flux, it has quite some unique features, including Flux OS, ZIL Core multi-asset wallet, and the Flux blockchain. Through Flux Labs' decentralized infrastructure, members gain absolute control over their chain's unique assets. This way, Flux Lab increases the operational value of the internet through its new internet goals. By the virtue of this strategic partnership, Dapp Play Store will be backed by Flux Labs, utilizing their decentralized infrastructure for its data storage. While this stays in line with Flux Labs' commitment to beneficial tech projects, this confirms Dapp Play Store's status as a functional Web3 company. Dapp Play Store will utilize Flux Labs' functional infrastructure as an acceleration project for its blockchain-based projects like content management and Dapp data storage. This way, Flux Labs will strengthen DPS online and global presence, as well as increase their outreach in the crypto world. So they'll use it will utilize DPS functional management systems, including the following. So the decentralized application Play Store, which Flux members can build their decentralized projects with after they can access them on the Dapp Play Store. This self-custody feature is aimed at giving members better control of their projects while solidifying their trust in Flux Labs. Pretty interesting stuff going on here. Obviously, I mean, it makes sense. It's a content management system, which clearly it kind of seems a little repetitive. And then you got the Dapp wallet, which is Flux Labs members can integrate their dApps to DPS Dapp wallet, earning them unique user experiences without the need for third-party wallets. To eliminate the need for changing wallets, the Dapp wallet doesn't have a 12-word seed phrase option. Instead, users can use their private keys, and this makes it safer, easier, and more privacy-oriented. In addition to offering a well-designed content management system, Dapp Play Store will work closely with Flux Labs to deliver exceptional services and share exclusive management insights to numerous members and further support the company's commitment to providing a simplified decentralized cloud infrastructure. Flux Lab will leverage insight from the Dapp Play Store, the first platform to house all the dApps, through which users can enjoy user-oriented experiences, complete interoperability, and a wide range of dApps at their fingerprints. Fingertips. I said fingerprints. With these insights and additional Dapp data gained from the Dapp Play Store's suite of professional analysis and solutions, Flux Labs will offer its members a unique look into trends impacting the Web 3.0 space. Dapp Play Store is the next generational Web3 application store content management system and peer-to-peer marketplace for decentralized applications. The first platform to house all dApps built on a variety of blockchain networks, a digital distribution platform utilizing the decentralized infrastructure for the software storage and scalability. Due to their decentralization and tokenomics, they are able to reward each dApp developer that submits their projects to Dapp Play Store with tokens for their participation. Essentially, the Dapp Play Store platform provides a comprehensive set of software solutions to run, create, download, monetize, and interact with an easy user experience, complete interoperability, and the infinite amount of dApps at your command. I mean, this is pretty cool stuff because it's basically, I mean, think Google Play Store, but like a development version or a sideload app version, right? But this is going to definitely make it easier for people to start adopting stuff like decentralized applications, which is really what we want to get down to with blockchain and making that stuff more accessible. So this is pretty cool. Definitely keep an eye on what Flux is doing with a lot of their, I guess specifically with decentralized applications now, because part of it too is the way that they are functioning with ZIL Core, to basically authenticate people, right? Which is part of the kind of push, I think, for ZIL Core in general, through Flux Labs and then all of that for verification and content management. So the Intel Arc A770 graphics card is 14% faster than the 3060, they're saying, and that's at 1080p with ray tracing on, which is interesting. So I took a look at this, and we've obviously talked about this problem with, basically Raja, who was from AMD, pretty much ran AMD graphics down into the dirt, into the ground, pretty much destroying everything that ATI had built up for many years. And then he just quits and goes on over to Intel to create graphics cards. And then what's their big plan? Well, they're going to basically release a GPU that is competitive with an RTX 3060 right at the launch of the 4000 series GPUs, which is just, par for the course with what Raja does with his teams. It's behind the eight ball. The strategy has been proven not to work, and it's just ridiculous at this point, and it's kind of annoying. The graphics card has been tested across a range of games, and out in 11 out of the 17 games, the A770 turns out to be the winner, while in 2 titles, the card matches the 3060 and loses in 4 AAA titles. And of course, this is basically with the last gen GPU. You can see here they have the 3060 FPS, and then of course the A770 FPS. And then over here, the improvements. So the Diofield Chronicle, 0% improvement. F1 2021, 17% improvement on the A770. Resident Evil Village, 15%. Deathloop, no change really, basically, within margin of error. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, plus 4%. These numbers are also kind of, to be frank, within margin of error in a lot of these, right? If you're going between 89 and 90, like this testing isn't necessarily spot on. Dying Light 2, they say, is 28% better. Arcageddon, 36% better. But in Battlefield 5, it loses by 17%. Metro Exodus, 33% better. Control at 19% better. Guardians of the Galaxy, worse. Hitman 3, 26% better. Watch Dogs Legion, 21% better. F1 2022, worse by 10%. Ghostwire Tokyo, 4% better. Fortnite, April 2022, they say, is 57% better, which is pretty interesting. I mean, we do know that one of the things that Intel wanted to do with their GPUs was target, of course, the kind of, I guess, the gaming cafe crowd. And that does mean targeting in things like Fortnite, Counter-Strike Go, League of Legends, which we had seen earlier, of course, as well from them too, was kind of the strategy that they were going for. Selling in the Eastern markets, something like South Korea, China, and those gaming cafes is probably going to be like the target market. But, you know, at the same time, it's just not that impressive. Just not. It's pretty disappointing, unfortunately. The coolest thing about it for the miners, which obviously we'll want to get our hands on it for, is that it does have 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory across a nice big bus. And, you know, we love big buses and we cannot lie. And that is a 256-bit bus. Now, that will be 190 watts, but a 256-bit bus of GDDR6 could be some, you know, pretty stellar performance numbers. You know, we could be talking about 60 megahash a second on ETH, 120 to 150 megahash a second, something like that, on depending on how it works, on Ergo. Probably not going to be seeing good numbers on Flux. If I had to take a bet, it does look like, as far as the GPU core clocks go, they're not really hitting quite what the current, you know, 3000 series or 6000 series from AMD are hitting. So, you know, probably nothing really great there, but the memory intensive algorithms, there is potential there. So keep an eye on that. I think the sweet spot though, would be kind of the step down A770 with only 8 gigabytes of GDDR6, because you still get the 256-bit bus. And while, yes, the TGP is supposed to be rated at the same, the fact of the matter is that with 8 gigabytes instead of 16 gigabytes, typically that does mean you reduce the amount of power consumption. So we'll keep an eye on it. I haven't seen any mining performance numbers for this yet, but we'll just have to go ahead and see later on down the line. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 Founders Edition graphics card leaks out, and some cooler, or same cooler but thicker design. Here you go. We got this kind of leaked out in a very weird way. First pictures of the alleged 4080 Founders Edition have been leaked by Kitty Yuko, and it basically looks exactly like the RTX 3090, so nothing too crazy here. So they do say that it is a thicker package with a wider cooler and shroud and much larger fans, comprising of 7 blades as opposed to the 9 blades that were on the 3090 and 3080. So the fan blades, there are 2 less blades. That's kind of what we've learned. I think as far as everything else, we haven't learned much more, right? We do know that we're getting improvements in the amount of L2 cache. We do know that we're kind of getting like a weird cut down in the memory performance area, where I think, yeah, we are getting cut down to a 256-bit bus, and it will have the faster, presumably 23 to 24 gigabit per second speeds, but we're going down from a 320-bit bus to a 256-bit bus. This is generation over generation, right? So the RTX 3080, we had a bigger bus. We got more memory bandwidth, because obviously, like you can see here, the 4080, 736 gigabytes per second, while on the 3080, we had 760 gigabytes per second. What does this mean? Well, it means on memory intensive algorithms for mining, it won't perform as well. And this is par for the course as far as GPU architecture shifts have been going. We saw it first with AMD and the RX 6000 series moving to infinity cache and reducing the amount of basically the size of the memory bus and kind of compensating with that on the cache side of things. And it looks like NVIDIA is following suit with that. So this also does tell me, because NVIDIA from an architectural standpoint is starting to move towards what AMD did last generation, that AMD architecturally is probably ahead of the game. We are probably going to see, I think, a little bit of an upset in the GPU market, provided, you know, AMD has the manufacturing to back it up, which is, you know, a tall order, especially with a lot of the shortages and stuff going on and the supply chain issues. So if AMD can manufacture enough and be competitive there on the price portion of things, I think architecturally they are ahead at this point, if I had to take a guess, right? So now, as far as the total board power, there is a 20 watt increase as well. So we're getting less memory bandwidth and more power. This doesn't mean necessarily that it won't be good for mining. There could be some situations, you know, in the core intensive areas, core intensive algorithms, where the 4000 series could perform quite well. And these could be, of course, like, but not limited to Ravencoin, Flux, Caspa, so on. And really, until you get it in hands for a lot of these, it's going to be hard to tell, because there is still, you know, some memory performance that does affect a few of these algorithms, even if they do have some sort of core component to them. All right, so Coinbase mispricing allows users in Georgia to cash out for 100 times the rate. The bug saw Georgia's national currency, the lari, priced at $290 instead of $2.90. Coinbase users in the Eastern European country of Georgia were able to exploit a price bug that allowed them to cash out their holdings for 100 times the exchange rate, pocketing thousands of dollars in profit. Georgia's national currency, the lari, was priced at $290 rather than $2.90 on Wednesday. In an email to CoinDesk, Coinbase attributed the missed decimal point to a third-party technical issue. The error allowed users holding $100 worth of lari are on Coinbase to withdraw it to their bank accounts for $10,000. Some users who were able to take advantage reported that their bank accounts and debit cards were frozen by their banks after transferring the funds to them. Coinbase said the issue was exploited by 0.001% of its total users, or about 1,000 customers. You know, that's 1,000 customers, though, at 1,000%. They're 100 times. That's quite a bit of money. That's quite a bit of money, man. While the size of the Coinbase's loss hasn't been disclosed, the spokesperson described it as a small, non-material amount. You know, probably to them, yeah, it's probably life-changing to the people that tried to do it, and doesn't mean much to Coinbase at the end of the day. The mispricing was reported earlier by Blockwords. Also, by the way, if you're interested, Brian Armstrong did a podcast with Lex Friedman. I highly recommend checking that out over on either Spotify or YouTube, and just taking a listen to it and kind of getting his perspective on the industry, kind of what he's gone through. I think it was a very good podcast. Personally, I'm learning a lot from it. I'm about halfway through, so I'll probably finish it today at some point after doing all of the kiddo runarounds, and we'll kind of go from there. But I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on it as well. Coinbase is an interesting, you know, an interesting discussion. I think just like with any other centralized exchange, where you need them to interface with traditional fiat currencies, but you would hope that people would get into self-custody at some point. What I did like about the interview with Brian Armstrong is it does seem like he does value self-custody to the point to where, like, he does encourage it. In fact, like he said, like, while most exchanges would encourage people to keep the cryptocurrency within their platform, he would lean towards encouraging people to move it off of their platform. All he's there to do is facilitate the onboarding between fiat into cryptocurrency, which I thought was an interesting perspective and enlightening, because, you know, it's not something I haven't actually like listened to him before, so it was new to me to learn. So More though, move over El Salvador. Iran is quickly emerging as a major Bitcoin proponent, which poses sizable ramifications for the entire crypto sphere. Why is this? Well, obviously Iran and the sanctions that have been put into place from the US on Iran in the past and currently. What cryptocurrency can do is basically provide a way out or around reserve currencies sanctioning you. And that does mean that from the perspective of people in power, or, you know, even within, like we talk about it, but the US and the way they will, you know, sanction countries to completely destroy them, it's interesting that cryptocurrency does provide this freedom to other smaller countries that maybe are being kind of held back because of a difference of an opinion, which, you know, this is kind of something that we're getting into from a philosophical point of view that expands over, you know, everything that we do in life. The thing that used to make, at least in my humble opinion, the thing that used to make the United States great is that I lived in a country that I was proud of, not because of necessarily that I agreed with everybody in the country, but for the exact opposite effect, which is that we were a country where we could disagree politically, religiously, philosophically, and still be a strong, united front. And that is clearly something that is not taking place anymore. The way cryptocurrency interacts, though, with societies and economies does give me hope, though, for the future, because I do see the cryptocurrency providing this economic freedom, which in turn does mean that you don't have to necessarily agree with someone on everything to basically provide them with some sort of freedom to live life the way they want to. And I think that's important. And like I've said before, the great thing about the bear market is we get back to these principles. We get out of this, I'm going to buy a monkey and become a millionaire, or I'm going to be this rapper that just dumps cash on the ground and acts all crazy in front of my Lamborghinis, and all this bullshit starts to get pushed out of the market. And it's quite nice, in my humble opinion. It is said that necessity is the mother of invention or innovation, if I may be permitted to amend this adage. Thus, Iran is not a free society where the lofty ideals of individual freedom hold sway, ideals that constitute a rallying cry for Bitcoin maximalists. Yet it is rapidly emerging as a force to be reckoned with where Bitcoin adoption is concerned, a veritable enigma based on a cursory overview of the country's innate dictatorial impulses. But, and this is a major qualifier, Iran is a country besieged by sanctions, and this is the important part that we need to pay attention to. Cryptocurrency gets rid of sanctions, and I know that that's controversial for a lot of people. You know, we have basically actors within the cryptocurrency mining space that won't talk about it. You know, I think we have a lot of in the cryptocurrency mining influencer space that won't stand up for the right things and the principles surrounding crypto. In fact, I think a majority of them are. I can't think of any that actually do stand up at this point and say, hey, you know, based on the principles of crypto, I don't think that you should be mining to Ethermine or Flexpool. I don't see them coming out and doing that. I don't see the right things being done by the right people, and it's extremely frustrating. And yes, you are going to take hits when you stand up for what's right. But I support cryptocurrency basically getting around sanctions this is supposed to give the power back into the hands of the people. That's what cryptocurrency is supposed to do. Iran officially recognized the crypto mining industry back in 2019, paving the way for miners to apply for specific licenses. While the mining activity carries surcharge on the electricity provided by the national grid, it remains quite profitable to officially mine Bitcoin in Iran, given the country's abundant oil resources and the dirt cheap electricity this surplus entails. All Bitcoin that is officially mined is sold to Iran's central bank. Nonetheless, Iran is an arid country with a hot climate. This means that during the customary summer heat waves, Iran has had to halt Bitcoin mining activities altogether so as to ensure grid stability, not dissimilar from what's happening in the United States either, right? This is what we talked about before with Bitcoin mining now, because of it not being dominated completely by China, moving away from the hash rate cycles going around the rainy season in Sichuan to essentially going around the summer and winter months of the United States. And that is kind of what's going to be happening with Bitcoin mining in general. So, coupled with intermittent crackdowns on illegal mining rigs, the atmosphere around Bitcoin mining in Iran has remained tarnished. Despite these shortcomings, the country has emerged ferociously on the global Bitcoin mining landscape when the authorities have allowed unfettered activity. The following chart details Iran's share of the global Bitcoin mining industry over the past few months, based on the hash rate figures sourced from the tabulation by the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance. Toward the end of August, Iran promulgated a comprehensive framework for the Bitcoin mining industry that addresses legal lacunas in the existing legal frameworks, as well as the issues around the supply of oil and the provision of electricity for mining activities. Crucially, as reported by Iran's Tasnim agency, imports can now be purchased using cryptocurrencies as payment mechanism. Although the framework speaks of cryptocurrencies in a general manner here, readers should interpret all such mentions as references to Bitcoin. This distinction is doubly relevant given that Ethereum is well on its way to switching from a proof-of-work transaction authentication framework to one based on proof of stake, which precludes the need to mine Ether coins. In fact, on the 9th of August, Iran processed the first such import consignment around $10 million, thereby practically demonstrating the country's resolve to increase the share of Bitcoin in its trade settlement activities. So here's the ramifications of Iran's growth adoption of Bitcoin. Every significant change involves positive and negative feedback loops. For Iran, the positives are quite clear. Bitcoin-denominated trade transactions will play an important role in diluting the stringent sanctions regime imposed on the Middle Eastern country, particularly when paired with mixers that serve to anonymize crypto-based transactions. What are we seeing here, of course? What does this relate to? Tornado Cash. Why is that important? That is important because you have to understand what is happening here. Why is Tornado Cash being attacked? It's not because Joe Schmo down the road tried to basically avoid taxes on his Ethereum profits from selling a Bored Ape Yacht Club. That's not what it is. The reason why the U.S. wants to sanction Tornado Cash is because they don't want it being utilized to basically get around sanctions for countries like Iran. You need to put these together so you understand why these regulations are coming into play. This in turn will alleviate the suffering of the common Iranians let's go. Particularly when paired with mixers, right, to serve and to anonymize basically crypto-based transactions. This in turn will alleviate the suffering of the common Iranians who've been unable to access life-saving medications in a number of instances due to the prevailing sanctions regime. And here's another thing. Why do we want to get around sanctions? Not to empower or bolster the people that are in control of said governments, but to empower the individual to take care of themselves and to live some sort of a respectable life. The individuals who are trying to obtain things like life-saving medications. This is the reason why it's important, okay? This is why we adhere to these principles. On the other hand, a newly emboldened Iran might accelerate its efforts to spread its sphere of influence across the Middle East, further fanning the flames of instability that have continued to rock the region for decades. For Bitcoin specifically, Iran's crypto-denominated trade will increase the uptake of the world's largest cryptocurrency bar market capitalization, not only in Iran, but also in the bilaterally transacting countries, such as India and the UAE, not to mention Russia and China. This increased uptake should play a role in reducing Bitcoin's legendary price volatility, which itself is a function of limited demand. On the negative side, Iran's growing Bitcoin footprint is sure to attract the scrutiny of US, which we already talked about here. I just pointed it out, but they're going to point it out in the article, which is not willing to cede the dominance of the dollar in global trade. Consider the fact that Tornado Cash, like we just talked about, once again, a blockchain protocol that allows users to uses the facility of sending and receiving cryptocurrencies anonymously, was recently sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets, or the OFAC, citing its use by North Korean hacker group Lazarus, as well as in various money laundering operations. This prompted Aave to halt all transactions emanating from Tornado Cash. Moreover, the EU continues to consider the imposition of a ban on Bitcoin mining activities on the basis of its hefty carbon footprint. Given that Ethereum is set to become more centralized by switching to a proof-of-stake framework, the crypto industry is currently debating how to halt creeping regulation in the various key jurisdictions. Against this backdrop, a prominent Iranian role in Bitcoin mining, even if minuscule by global standards, is sure to attract the proverbial hammer. In such a situation, Bitcoin's global uptake will suffer even if it remains impossible to completely ban Bitcoin globally. Lastly, if the US were to use its financial might to drive away Bitcoin maximalists from the network by using the threat of sweeping sanctions or even arrest, it would leave the world's largest cryptocurrency increasingly beholden to mercantile but dictatorial regimes such as Iran, Russia, and China, which will not bode well for Bitcoin's long-term prospects. Here's the thing about that, though. In general, China's already kind of against Bitcoin. They're working on their own CBDC. I don't see China basically taking that over. I do think that it will be extremely important to see how the Western world works with regulations surrounding Bitcoin, especially given these kind of control plays that are coming into play with sanctions and so on. Sweeping sanctions hurt the public, hurt the individual within the countries, and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is supposed to empower the individual to be able to live basically a normalized life to a certain extent, hopefully, right? Like you want to have economic freedom, because with economic freedom comes essentially a better living condition for everyone, right? It means typically less crime. The more economic freedom you have, the less crime there is, right? And I think that's extremely important. Like it all kind of plays into itself. Anyways, let's get into mining profitability right after a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. Boom, and welcome back, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I recently finally fully quit nicotine again. I had kind of fallen back into it, and I've been using these little pouches that are kind of like dip, but instead they got like tea and shit in them, or coffee. Anyways, helps with the whole mouth thing. So if you're having issues with quitting nicotine, maybe give it a shot. Doesn't get rid of all the other stuff, by the way. If you want to go into the withdrawal and nicotine addiction, let me know. We could talk about it on another channel. No, a lot of it's not very pretty. It's very uncomfortable. It's not the first time I've quit, though. So hopefully it'll be the last time this time. We're doing it during a difficult period. That's a whole other different topic. Let's get into mining profitability. That's what we care about, right? So for yesterday, we did 0.061 ETH on an average hash rate of 4.5 gigahash a second over the past 24 hours. And that came out to $91.81 USD. We're expected to earn 0.063 Ethereum over the next 24 hours, which would come out to $94.69. As soon as it came in, I did swap it out for some Ethereum Classic personally, which is what I've been working on. The rest of my rigs are on a mix between Ergo and Caspa, as well as a little bit of Flux, because we'll be testing some Flux hash rates with the new lolMiner here in a little while, so you can definitely check that out. If we take a look at what to mine at 10 cents a kilowatt hour on the RTX 3090 with corrected ZIL hash rates, Kapal, ProgPal, and Firo proof of work hash rates, we see that Neoxa comes in first at $2.82 a day in revenue and $2.02 a day after power. Today, Ethereum has gone up in price, which has boosted the revenue after power up to $2 a day, which is quite nice to see. And Raven Coin's at $2.18 a day in revenue and $1.39 a day after power. Flux is actually a little bit more profitable than Raven Coin because it uses less power. It's at $2.16 a day in revenue and $1.47 a day after power. Scrolling down, we got Conflux here at $2.12 a day in revenue, $1.32 a day after power. We got some of the typical ones that, you know, they're small caps. I'm not too interested in them, but you got the Xano, you got the Cero, you got the Firo, who's basically pretty much ostracized all the proof of work miners at this point. And then finally, you do got Ergo. Still struggling down here. The payouts have not been that good on Ergo lately. $1.77 a day in revenue and $1.14 a day after power. And then we got to go really, really far down. Ethereum Classic still not looking good after all those A10s moved over. $1.46 a day in revenue and 69 cents a day after power. And this only gets worse once the merge goes through, right? So we got a couple more days here left before we end up in a position where we are closer to the merge. I believe it's in about 4 days on the 6th, and that's the Bellatrix upgrade. Once that goes through, we're even closer, and then we're looking at the merge between 10 and 20 days. It's really going to be up to you guys on what you decide to do with your mining rigs, etc. We are going to be testing more. We have all the testing for Caspa out. We're going to be doing some more testing for Flux today over on twitch.tv/blindrun, and then releasing a video for you guys once we get all that data aggregated and up and running for you guys. So mining pool stats, Bitcoin at 241 exahash a second. We're expecting this to go up even more as the temperatures go down. So we're keeping an eye on it. That's the projections. We're going to have an increase in difficulty on Bitcoin. Ethereum did actually go up today, finally in price, breaking $1,600. It is up a little bit in hash rate too at 965 terahash a second. If we take a look at Ethereum Classic, it's still sitting right around that 47 to 48 terahash a second. I think this is where we're going to steady out for the next 10 to 15 days, and then we're going to see all those ASICs, those AntMIner E9s start to move over. You know, it's going to be really interesting. I'm extremely excited to see this happen. To be honest, this is like, I get it. Everybody's like, mining's dead. This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. This is the most exciting time, in my humble opinion. This will be the most interesting time. We will see kind of like, basically, we're going to see something we've never seen before. And whether you think that's like, I know like a lot of people say that's like negative, but that's always kind of a positive in my opinion. These scary times are the positive things. We get to see what's going to happen, and I'm really excited to see what happens personally. So finally, just glad to kind of be closer and closer to being done. It's kind of like going, I don't know. It's kind of like your 2 weeks notice at work where you can kind of just stop giving a shit about Vitalik and Ethereum. And it'll just be kind of nice to just stop giving a shit about Ethereum. Be like, I'm done. I don't work for you anymore. You can't tell me what to do. You can't keep fucking manipulating my pay. I'm done. I'm done. It's kind of nice. It'll be liberating when it's done. You know what I mean? Flux at 2 mega solutions a second. And that is definitely up. We're also actually just broke $1, it looks like, on Flux. Once again, it'll probably come back down into the 90-cent range. The whole market is kind of going up right now. I think that's due to the jobs report, which is kind of interesting because there are less jobs from what I was seeing earlier. But I think that means that they're also going to be taking a look at the CPI data, and we were probably going to see a 50 basis point hike instead of a 75 basis point hike. I don't know. That's kind of, we already predicted that, so it's kind of weird to just like see the markets react to what everybody already knew they were going to do to manipulate it. It's kind of stupid at the end of the day. But whatever, dude. Taking a look at Ravencoin, we have 2.87 terahash a second, and Neoxa at 700 gigahash a second. Neoxa needs to be extremely careful with the potential of 51% attacks from Ravencoin. There's still not enough hash rate over there, I don't think, to really protect it. I mean, obviously they have the high confirmation times on the exchanges to prevent there, but they need a permanent solution for Neoxa. For sure. Ergo at 15.42 terahash a second. And it is still just sitting right above $3. It's at $3.30 right now. But as we've seen, a lot of difficulty kind of coming on to it just because people are starting to get ready. And then finally, what do we got? Oh, I do like to look at my Caspa. I do like to show my Caspa. It is what it is. 70 terahash a second, 40 terahash a second on pools now. So it is up actually in amount of hash rate on the network. ASIC miner profitability, AntMIner E9 at 54.20 a day. So up a little bit thanks to the price increase of course, Ethereum. AntMIner L7 at 18.94 a day, just under $20. And the Gold Shell KD6 at $10.19 a day, with the KD5 at $5.90 a day. Pretty rough. I think that definitely hasn't quite dropped down below $10, but you know, for being a $60,000 miner just like under a year ago, it's pretty rough. AntMIner S19 Pro at $3.04 a day. Back over $3, but these margins are tight, you know. And I think those margins on the E9 are going to get real tight too. Basically, if you consider the fact that the E9 is about double the price of S19 Pro, you're probably going to see profitability on the E9 get smashed down on ETC all the way to about, I would assume, you know, $6 a day on the AntMIner E9. So 2400 mega hash a second basically being $6 a day. That's really the potential. Mining pool profitability for the last 90 days, ZET in first, Crazy Pool in second, Ethermine in third. For the last 60 days, ZET in first, Nanopool in second, F2 Pool in third. Last 30 days, ZET in first, Nanopool in second, Crazy Pool in third. Last 21 days, Crazy Pool in first, Nanopool in second, F2 Pool in third. Last 14 days, Crazy Pool in first, ZET in second, Nanopool in third. Last 7 days, Crazy Pool in first, Mining Pool up in second, Crux Pool in third. Last 3 days, Crazy Pool in first, Mining Pool up in second, F2 Pool in third. For the last day, ZET in first, Crazy Pool in second, and Crux Pool in third. This will be one of the last days that we look at this chart. I guess we could start looking at Ethereum Classic chart at some point, but it'll be a sad day when all of these get shut down. Let's get into questions and answers. Remember, super chats are never required, always appreciated. First to be answered because they're the easiest to read. Tagging at Son of a Tech will highlight the message orange, making it easier for me to read, and will be the only way that I will actually have a chance at reading your message. And let's go ahead and scroll up. Wasted Trash Panda, I do want to say thanks for the $2 super sticker. Super stickers are great for the algo, so thank you for that. Minor Illusion says that son of a tech 2-week notice. I love it. Yeah, it is. It's basically that's what we're in with the with with Ethereum right now. Retro Mike Crypto said at son of a tech it's because the jobs report was slightly under projected. If it was drastically under or over, the markets would have dropped. Yeah. Digital Fortress Mining says, Asamatech, I definitely feel you on the second week notice vibe. Ready to switch off and keep it trucking. Kevin Smith says, Asamatech, did you see that hit piece on Bitcoin stablecoins and promotion of CBDCs on the IMF website today? I think we reported on it yesterday during the Twitch live stream. And I do think we have some stuff going on there. Adder says, Asamatech, what are your thoughts on Kadena? I think it still has potential for growth or going to get lost to the ages. I've never been a big fan of Kadena, but I don't know enough about it, right? So I don't like a lot of ASIC coins. You know, the only ASIC coins that I like would be like Bitcoin and Dogecoin. I mean, maybe a little bit of Litecoin here and there. Leonardo Mohammed says, Asamatech, how to update lolMiner version 1.55 on Hive OS. You may have to update the whole image. You just click the update button. We'll talk about that a little bit later because I will be streaming over on twitch.tv and doing some upgrades, at least in testing, at least until about, 2 o'clock, I think. Hold on, let me look here. Yeah, I think I have a meeting at 2 o'clock. Probably just some dude wasting my time again. Trying to sell me something, it looks like. Or get me to promote something to y'all. Probably wants me to shill another coin. And I'll be like, no, thank you. Josh Clemens says, Asamatech, thoughts on the 6600 under 250 USD worth picking up? I think that we're going to see a lot more cheap GPUs coming up when things go down. Like, I think we're in a position where, like, I wouldn't be buying right now. You got like 2 weeks before this whole thing just basically collapses, right? Interest has clearly died down, right? We're down, like I said, about 60% in views, which tells me that a lot of people have gotten out. But I think that we're not quite at the bottom yet. So I think that, like, as far as purchasing equipment, is a $250 good for a 6600 right now? Sure, maybe. I don't know. But it's probably going to be terrible as compared to what it'll be in, like, 2 weeks. Crypto Die, thanks for the $2 super chat. Scale of 1 to 10. How much do you hate the idea of CBDCs? 11. The most. Ken Pratt says, Asamatech, I tried a Caspa node on bare metal Ubuntu, but the Caspad node kept getting killed without any explanation or warning. Is that common? No, that's not common. I don't know where you messed up. It's hard to tell, unfortunately. You can run it with like a debug, and then you can check the log files. Leonardo says, Asamatech, any update on the Polygon mining project? No, I'm probably starting to think I got lied to by these guys. That's how I think. I think these ZK rollup guys are just, I don't know. He never rescheduled. Chadwick, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says Celsius news came out. Read up on Twitter. More Celsius news coming out. We'll catch it on the Twitch show, I guess, after all this. Mid G says, Asamatech, which coin do you see the most potential for GPU miners? Ergo? Yeah, probably Ergo. We're going to see if Flux at least fixes it for the 5000 series. Polaris cards probably have no hope. Gamer Kid says, do the new lolMiner will make AMD more efficient on NVIDIA on Flux? No. Mike Wright says, as Tech, the new lolMiner does get more hash rate on the 6600 XT than Mini Z, but can't get the power down. Takes about 20 watts more per GPU, only 2 to 3 solutions more. Well, that's probably because it's trying to push the core further. Use my link for what, John English? And thank you, good sir. We got about 14 minutes for questions and answers here. MidG says, at Tech, ZK rollups will take several years to grow, providing ZK proofs won't be anything immediate. If ZK rollups take off and the networks evolve, then it could be something. Right. So the ZK rollups are essentially a way to process transactions quicker for Ethereum. Right. And that's still under development. The thing is we're still supposed to get some sort of information on how that would work for GPUs, but I don't think it's going to work for GPUs. I don't know. At least not for a while. Rad CPU Man says, Tech Ergo is listed on ZIL Core now. Well, we knew that was coming, right? And I think Caspa is coming there too. I don't know, John. It's hard to read all the comments. Chadwick says, Tech soul of the nation. What are you talking about? Diego Bosco says, Tech, I don't know if you spoke, but did you see the news about running Caspa nodes in Flux node? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Already done. Done deal. We're faster at the news than you're at the you're at the news. Then you can keep up. Faster than you can keep up. That's what I do here. I just read news or articles to you. Completely useless to society. Lucas Ott says, Tech, in my opinion, 400 volt Bitcoin ASICs are a step in the wrong direction. What do you mean 400V Bitcoin ASICs? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that the direction they're moving? Crypto Q says, Tech, do you have a Flux node? No, I do not. I was working on helping you guys figure it out, but I still will not own one personally. Winfair says, do you have a Casper price prediction? 2025, 16 cents. Retro Mike Crypto says, Tech, that's thoughts on the Kuiper Swap DEX getting hacked. I didn't see that one yet. Spilled coffee on my pants. The new Hydro Bitcoin, you mean the S19 Hydro or whatever? Use 400 volts instead of 230. You're talking about the XP Hydro? Hydro. Racco says, do you have any ASICs running? Yeah, I have a few ASICs running. Oh, why are there so many bad sites? Retro Avenue, thanks for the $1.99 super chat sticker. Yeti Crab says the new Bitmain Hydrate units are running 3-phase. Well, that makes sense. Nicholas Kane says, at Tech, I've been here for a week, but Garlic Coin has been doing a lot of work getting listed on more exchanges, hoping miners move over after the merge. But then had a 51% attack last Friday. Yeah, people need, I mean, well, there's going to be a lot of 51% attacks because there's going to be a lot of miners that are just bored. There's going to be a lot of people that just throw their shit on NiceHash. Crypto Key says, Tech Flux too centralized for you? Yes, it's centralized. Adder says, Tech, what GPUs do you think will be good buys post-merge? 3060 Ti's, 3070s. We'll have to see what happens, though. Sean says, ask time to take any chance for a guide on dual mining Ergo and CAS. Not right now, no. I'm already behind. Bits be tripping. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. We're just wrapping it up. Make sure you guys go follow Bits be tripping, the real OG. Let me go get his YouTube channel. Pull it up for you guys. Share it out. Bam. Go sub to BBT, boys. Thomas says, can you do some consulting? Yeah, I do consulting on sonofatech.locals.com. CryptoQ says, Sonofatech is dual Erg CAS possible. Yeah, it's possible right now. It just doesn't work well. Bit says he's going to stream later today himself, guys. He says he's going to go over the merge misconceptions. Winfair says, why is Flux too centralized? Because it has a board members and they have, I mean, you can talk to them specifically. Even Daniel Keller says that they're centralized. They run that as a company, though. It's not like a Bitcoin or a Ergo or something where you just have a developer that created like a blockchain and put it out there on like GitHub. You have to get whitelisted to utilize the network. Lots of stuff. Flux is just a technology. It's not a crypto. AS says, as I'm a tech, check out Spectrum Ergo Dex off-chain bots. They seem like a centralized attack vector. I haven't heard about that. Kevin Smith says, at Bits Be Trippin' and or Son of a Tech, do either of y'all have an opinion on Core Scientific as a company? I haven't, you know, it's too hard to actually, I don't like any public Bitcoin mining companies. But if I don't remember if Core was one that was better or worse. I thought they were worse. I thought Core's was doing worse. I thought they were definitely selling off more shit. I thought they were cutting staff. Yeah. They're one of the ones that are doing more poorly. They may be acquired by a different one. That's interesting that they're hiring. Last I heard, they were getting rid of people. Racco is saying, what do you mean isn't going to NiceHash the best financial decision? No, it's the best decision to destroy the entire cryptocurrency proof of work mining ecosystem after the merge. It's the best way to do that. It's the best way to completely implode every network and open every single coin up for attack. And that's what NiceHash is the best for, especially with the amount of hash rate that's going to go to it. But it also doesn't work like that. So let's say you use some sort of profit switching. Let's say everybody uses profit switching. All that's going to happen is everybody that's using any sort of profit switching is all going to be profit switching together at the same time, making therefore everything unprofitable that they switch to. Because all it's going to be doing is pulling the same API data from what to mine. So you're just going to be following the sheep and literally losing money the whole fucking time because you're stupid and too lazy to go try to set it up yourself. Like that's literally how that's going to happen. Because you have to, once again, the profit switching is just going to be pulling the same data that everybody else is pulling. Okay? So, if you're profit switching and you're too lazy to figure it out yourself, all that's going to happen is you're going to be hopping with everybody else that is switching, thereby making every single network that you hop to unprofitable. CryptoQ says, how does a 51% attack work? Basically, 50%, over 51% of the hash rate goes onto the network, thereby making one chain longer than the other. That then allows them to take those coins and then double spend them, not only on the new chain that has been basically ahead of the rest of the chain, but also on the old chain that is the original chain. So you end up basically like splitting it into two, right? So then there's a ledger of it over here and a ledger of it over here. Zach says, how did you find Caspa? Just community members. Advice on finding new coins like that? Participate in different communities. Bits, I'm willing to come out. I don't know. I don't have enough money or time, to be honest. I got to start working here soon. But hit me up. We could try to figure it out. I'd like to see it. Pioneer says, ask Tech, I'm willing to set and forget my AMD rigs and NVIDIA where to go. That's going to be up to you, man. I saw Snark. I replied, I'm down when I can. I'll probably be going back to a different direction, though, again, for a little while. Because I think we're going to be having to feed the family, boys. That's the way it is. Where do you think the communities are? sonofatech.locals.com, rocketchat.sonofatech.com, at sonofatech on Twitter, twitch.tv/blindrun, fuck Ethereum Discord, pick it. Plenty of different communities. Meiji says, ask Tech, will you get some ET hash ASICs? Probably not, no. JJ Doc says, ask Tech, you're doing a great job. A lot of good advice here in the space. Hopefully we get it worked out. Trade Nickel says, ask Tech, got hired in IT. Went to school a few years ago, but no one would hire me at a rate I could afford to switch careers. Mining gave me hands-on and the start next week. Congratulations, good sir. It's cool that mining helped you do that. Hope you enjoy your new job. All right, boys, we're going to call it over here. I will be live on twitch.tv/blindrun here in just a little bit, probably about 10 minutes, and we are going to be working on testing out the Flux hash rates on the RX 6000 series and RX 5000 series GPUs. So if you're interested in that, I hope to see you guys over there. I will definitely put the links down below. And then obviously stay tuned to the channel and share it all out and all that sort of stuff. And then we will move us over to BBT at 1:30. Spam it. All right, DJ Mine, see you over there. All right, boys. I'll see you next Tuesday. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. That's an old one.